It was a silent drive, no music, no podcast. Just the steady hum of the tires against the pavement and the faint buzz of my thoughts. I wasn't just walking away from Laura. I was making sure she felt the full weight of her actions. By the time she stepped back into that house, she would understand just how truly alone she was. I drove to a motel on the outskirts of town, paying in cash, no digital trail. I didn't want her tracking me down. I wasn't in the mood for dramatics or the fake tears she would shed once she realized her safety net had vanished. That night, I slept better than I had in months. The next morning, I checked my phone, expecting the chaos to have begun. Nothing. I frowned. She hadn't noticed yet. I waited a few more hours, glancing at the time, wondering what she was doing. Maybe she had spent the night with him, wrapped in her fantasy, blissfully unaware that her world was already collapsing beneath her feet. Then at 11:32 a.m., the first message came through. Laura, hey, did you move some money around? The bank app is acting weird. A smirk curled on my lips. I let her sit in that uncertainty a little longer before switching off my phone. I wasn't ready to talk, not yet. I had one last thing to take care of. I drove to the office she shared with her affair partner. I knew his name now, Adam. I had spent the past week carefully gathering information, combing through company records, checking team pages, and piecing together the details Laura thought she had kept hidden. Adam was exactly the type, the kind of guy who took pride in being a real man, the kind who believed he was untouchable, the kind who thought he could take another man's wife and walk away unscathed. He was well-dressed, well-groomed, and full of himself. Everything about him oozed arrogance. So, I made sure he had a surprise waiting. I had sent a meticulously crafted email to HR, attaching screenshots of their conversations, explicit messages, plans for secret meetings during work hours, and expense reports that aligned a little too perfectly with their romantic getaways. The kind of evidence that screamed inappropriate workplace relationship, the kind of evidence that could end a career. By Monday morning, he would walk into the office expecting a normal day, only to find a formal investigation waiting for him. And Laura? She'd be drowning in panic, watching everything spiral out of her control. Late that afternoon, I finally turned my phone back on. Laura had sent over 20 messages in the past few hours, each one more frantic than the last. Laura, Nathan, where are you? Laura, we need to talk. Laura, did you take all the money? Laura, what the hell is going on? Laura, what did you send to my job? I chuckled, watching her unravel in real time. I let her stew for a bit before finally pressing dial. The moment she answered, her voice was shaky, breathless, desperate. Laura, Nathan, where are you? What's happening? I stayed silent for a second, letting her feel the weight of her panic. Then calmly I said, Morning, Laura. Laura, don't morning me. What the hell is this? My card isn't working. The bank is saying the accounts are empty, and she sucked in a sharp breath. And my boss called me into HR this morning. Do you have any idea what you've done? I leaned back in my chair, staring at the ceiling. Yeah, I said flatly. I have a pretty good idea. Laura, you son of a... Careful, I cut in smoothly. You really don't want to push me right now. She inhaled sharply, trying to steady herself. Laura, Nathan, we need to talk about this. Her voice softened, as if she thought she could coax me into reasoning with her. Laura, I don't know what kind of game you're playing, but this isn't funny. You need to come home so we can fix this. I let out a low chuckle. Fix this? Laura, yes. Look, She hesitated, lowering her voice as if that would change anything. I know you're upset, and I get it, okay? I shouldn't have dropped it on you like that. But you didn't have to go nuclear. You've made your point. Let's just talk and figure something out. I shook my head, even though she couldn't see me. You really don't get it, do you? Laura, Nathan, please. No, my voice turned ice cold. A heavy silence stretched between us. Finally, she whispered, "Where are you?" "Gone." "Laura, what does that mean?" she demanded. I took my time with the answer, dragging out my words deliberately. "It means I'm done playing your game. I spent 6 months believing your lies while you snuck around behind my back. You thought you could have it all. But guess what, Laura?" I leaned in, lowering my voice to a chilling calm. "Now, you have nothing." She let out a strangled sound, a mix of frustration and panic. "Nathan, you can't just—" I ended the call. For good measure, I blocked her number. I wasn't about to waste another second on her self-inflicted misery. There was still one more person who needed a rude awakening. Adam, Laura's shiny new plaything. It didn't take much effort to dig up what I needed. I already knew his workplace, his title, his picture-perfect home life, and, most importantly, his wife, Michelle. She was a missing piece, the final push needed to bring their web of deception crashing down. I crafted the email carefully. Subject: Your husband, Adam. Hi, Michelle. I know this will be difficult to read, but you deserve the truth. Your husband has been having an affair with my wife, Laura, for over 6 months. I've attached screenshots of their messages, documentation of their meetups, and financial records proving their hotel stays. I thought you should know. Attachments: screenshots of explicit conversations between Laura and Adam. Confirmed hotel bookings under Adam's name. A time-stamped photo of them together, laughing, arms wrapped around each other. I hovered over the send button for just a moment, then clicked it. Tuesday morning, my phone rang. I didn't need to check the caller ID. I answered casually, "Hello?" "You son of a—" Adam's voice exploded through the speaker, laced with fury and panic. I smirked. "Ah, good morning, Adam. You think this is funny? You just wrecked my life. Michelle won't even speak to me. She's threatening to leave, and now my boss is breathing down my neck. What the hell did you do?" I shrugged, even though he couldn't see me. "Sent your wife a little gift. Seems like she wasn't thrilled to find out her loving husband was screwing someone else's wife. You don't understand, man," he muttered bitterly, a nervous laugh slipping through his disbelief. "It wasn't serious. It was just a thing. There it was. She was just a thing. Not his soulmate. Not someone irreplaceable. Just a fleeting distraction. And Laura thought she was special." I chuckled. "You might want to let Laura know how you really feel. She was under the impression you two had something real." "You—" Adam seethed through clenched teeth. I grinned wider. "See, Adam, this is what happens when you play stupid games. You win stupid prizes. You think this is over?" he snarled. "Oh no," I said smoothly. "This is just getting started." I ended the call. Laura still had no idea. She didn't know Adam was already throwing her under the bus. Didn't know Michelle had irrefutable proof. Didn't realize her perfect little fantasy was about to implode. All without me lifting another finger. This was going to be fun. That afternoon, I checked my phone. I wasn't disappointed. Laura had finally realized her dream world was unraveling. Her messages had spiraled from frantic to downright desperate. "Laura, Nathan, please, we need to talk." "Laura, something's wrong. Adam's not answering me." "Laura, did you do something?" "Laura, please just call me." I could almost picture her face, the slow dawning horror as everything crumbled around her. I let her stew. Instead, I made a different call. Michelle answered on the second ring. "This is Michelle." I took a slow breath. "Michelle, this is Nathan. We haven't met, but Oh, I know who you are," she cut in, her voice cold and razor-sharp. I smiled. "She got my email. I just want to make sure you got everything." "Oh, I got it," she snapped. "And I've spent the last 2 hours deciding exactly what to do with it." I leaned back in my chair. "So, what's the plan?" She let out a humorless laugh. "Well, let's see. First, I called my lawyer. Divorce papers are already being drafted. Then I made a few calls to some mutual friends. You know, just to make sure everyone knows exactly what kind of man Adam is. I grinned. And now, she continued, her voice dripping with venom, I'm sitting outside his office, waiting for him to step out, so I can watch the exact moment he realizes he's lost everything. I let out a low whistle. Damn. And I thought I was good at this. Oh no, she said darkly. You gave me the ammunition. I'm just the one pulling the trigger. She exhaled, then added, Listen, I don't know if this helps, but thanks. I know it sounds strange, but I'd rather live with the truth than stay blind. I nodded, even though she couldn't see me. Yeah, same here. There was a pause before she asked, Does Laura know yet? I chuckled. Not yet, but she will soon. Michelle exhaled sharply. Good. I hope she drowns in it. We said our goodbyes, and I sat back, waiting for the next explosion. I didn't have to wait long. 30 minutes later, Laura called. You bastard, she spat, her voice shaking with rage. Ah, so you figured it out, I said lazily. You ruined everything, she shrieked. Adam just told me his wife is divorcing him. She went to his boss, and now he's been fired. I grinned. Perfect. Her voice cracked. He said he can't be with me anymore. There it was. Her lifeline severed. Her safety net gone. The man she betrayed me for had discarded her like yesterday's trash. Wow, I said, feigning sympathy. That's rough, Laura. You set me up, she whispered, her breath shaky. You played me, and I was too stupid to see it. I didn't respond. She was right. She sniffled, her voice softer now. Nathan, can we talk? I smirked. Talk about what? She hesitated. About us. I laughed. Actually laughed. Oh, Laura, I said, shaking my head. There is no us. Her breath hitched. Click. I ended the call. Her world was officially in ruins. Her bank account drained, her lover vanished, her reputation in tatters. But I wasn't done yet. Not quite. I wouldn't be satisfied until I saw everything around her completely collapse. I had taken her money. I had dismantled her affair. I had witnessed Adam's life crumble into nothingness. But there was one last thing left to do. She needed to truly comprehend, without a shadow of doubt, that there was no redemption from this. And for that, I needed to see her face to face. That evening, I drove back to the house, our house, the place where we had built a life together, the place where she once smiled at me with warmth, the place where she had the audacity to bring another man. But there was no sadness left in me, no pain, just an eerie void. I parked a few houses down and waited. At precisely 9:47 p.m., Laura's car rolled up. She stepped out hesitantly, her shoulders sagging under the weight of her ruined existence. Her once perfect posture had collapsed. Her makeup was smeared, her normally flawless hair a tangled mess. For the first time in her life, she looked small, like a woman who had finally awakened to the devastation she had inflicted upon herself. I stepped out of my car and strode toward the driveway. She halted abruptly when she spotted me. Nathan, she whispered. I leaned against the doorframe, effectively blocking her path inside. She swallowed hard. Can we talk? Sure, I said flatly, but you're not coming in. Her breath hitched. Nathan, please don't do this. I crossed my arms. Do what, Laura? Exactly what you did to me. Her eyes shimmered with unspilled tears. I know I messed up, she admitted, her voice quivering. But we had something, you and me. We built a life together. I tilted my head, and you threw it away. I wasn't thinking, she confessed, her voice cracking. I thought I needed something different. But when Adam, she shook her head, biting her lip. When he left me, I realized it was always supposed to be you, Nathan. I arched a brow. Huh, that's funny. I stepped closer, lowering my voice to a dangerous calm. You weren't saying that when you were lying to my face every night, when you were sneaking out, texting him, meeting him in hotel rooms. Her lip trembled. You weren't thinking about me then, I continued. You weren't thinking about us. You were only thinking about yourself. She nodded desperately, her fingers clutching my arm. I was selfish. I see that now. I glanced down at her hand, then, very deliberately, peeled it off me. She recoiled as if I had physically struck her. Nathan, she breathed, I'm not here to forgive you, I said plainly. Tears spilled down her cheeks. I pulled a small envelope from my jacket pocket and tossed it onto the porch. She stared at it, then at me, confusion flickering in her eyes. What's this? She asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Your divorce papers. Her breath caught in her throat. No, Nathan, please. I turned away. It's done, I stated firmly. Sign them. Send them to my lawyer, and then I never want to hear from you again. A strangled sob tore from her lips as she crumpled onto the porch, her shoulders shaking with grief. I walked toward my car, but just before getting in, I glanced back over my shoulder. Oh, and one more thing. She lifted her gaze, eyes red and swollen. I put the house up for sale this morning. The color drained from her face. No, Nathan, you can't. It was never in your name, I said smoothly. So yeah, I can. I opened the car door and, with one final glance, added, Enjoy your new life, Laura. Then, without a second thought, I drove away for good.